2 weeks ago, this channel published a video on France firing Palantir from its domestic intelligence agency, the DGSI, and replacing it with ChapsVision, which is a French company founded back in 2019. In that video, we noted that Germany had already done the exact same thing. The BFV chose ChapsVision over Palantir just a month before. And at the end of that video, this channel made a specific prediction that at least 2 more European intelligence services will announce Palantir replacements before the end of 2026, with the Netherlands, Italy, and Spain as the most likely candidates. Well, yesterday, El Confidencial, one of Spain's most respected investigative outlets, reported that Spain's Prime Minister's office has instructed all public companies and state-controlled enterprises managed by SEPI to avoid entering new contracts with Palantir Technologies. That includes Telefonica, Spain's largest telecommunications company, Indra, Spain's leading defense electronics and IT contractor, and Navantia, Spain's national warship builder. So 3 countries, 6 weeks: France, Germany, Spain. The CIA-backed AI company that dominated European government analytics for a decade is being systematically expelled from the continent's public infrastructure, one capital at a time. And it is happening faster than even this channel predicted. It turns out European governments can move quickly, provided the motivation is a collective burning desire to evict an American tech company from their premises. My name is Elle, and I use data analysis to spot patterns in geopolitics and economics, and the pattern here is no longer a trend. It is not policy. What began as individual procurement decisions, France choosing sovereignty for its spy agency, Germany choosing sovereignty for its domestic intelligence, has now escalated into government-wide directive. Spain is not replacing Palantir in one agency, is not just for defense, for example. It is banning Palantir from every state-controlled company simultaneously. That is a significant qualitative shift. France and Germany acted institution by institution, and they continue to do so. But Spain is acting at the level of the state. The companies affected by the directive are not peripheral either. They're SEPI, S-E-P-I, which manages Spain's strategic public holdings across defense, telecommunications, energy, transport, and technology. Telefonica operates Spain's telecommunications backbone and holds critical infrastructure status across multiple EU member states. Indra builds Spain's military command and control systems, air traffic management platforms, and election technology. Navantia designs and constructs warships for the Spanish Navy and for export clients, including Australia and Saudi Arabia. Telling these companies to stop contracting with Palantir means that the data flowing through Spain's defense systems, its telecommunications networks, its naval procurement, and its critical state infrastructure will no longer be processed by American AI software subject to American jurisdiction. If Spain wants to build a warship, they're going to do it without an algorithmic overmind in Denver, Colorado, tracking the exact dimensions of the captain's quarters. If you've been following this channel's coverage of the broader European digital sovereignty, this is the 3rd Palantir domino in just 6 weeks and the broadest by far. The legal framework back in Spain's decision is still being formalized. There are 2 draft laws currently, the draft law on the protection and resilience of critical entities and the draft law on industry and strategic autonomy. They are both in the amendment phase with deadlines extended to September, but that's still very fast. Neither law explicitly prohibits foreign software and strategic companies, but both strengthen the framework for security certification, infrastructure supervision, and dependency control in ways that would give legal teeth to what is currently an informal instruction. Spain is building the directive first and the legislation second, acting now immediately while the legal architecture catches up on its own. Is essentially the geopolitical equivalent of a bouncer throwing someone out of a club and writing the dress code policy while they're sort of mid-air floating. That is the same approach France took with ChapsVision, awarding the DGSI contract while the tech sovereignty package was still being drafted in Brussels. If you're trying to understand how to spot structural shifts in technology markets like this before they become mainstream consensus, my book, Awake the Practice of Critical Thinking in an Age of Soft Lies, is available as an ebook and audiobook. Subscribers get 10% off, and you can grab the first chapter for free in the description links below. Palantir's position in Europe is now deteriorating across every dimension simultaneously, and this is super significant. France replaced it in intelligence, Germany replaced it in intelligence as well, Spain has banned it from all state companies, the EU's tech sovereignty package restricts American cloud providers from handling sensitive government data, the European Parliament also replaced Google with Quant, France is migrating from Windows to Linux and from Teams to Visio, the Netherlands blocked a US takeover of its digital identity system DigID, and Palantir's CEO Alex Karp's public celebration of the company's role in selecting bombing targets during the Iran war gave every European decision maker the political cover they needed to justify this exit. You do not need to construct a complex sovereignty argument when the CEO of your data analytics provider is publishing manifestos about American technological supremacy, while your own citizens in the US are paying $4.50 a gallon for petrol because of the war he is celebrating. It is a masterclass in corporate PR collapse. If you want European spy agencies to keep buying your software, maybe just don't behave like a villain giving a mid-movie monologue about global domination. Don't even get me started on the hair, by the way, but I'm going to let that go for now. The Democratica analysis of the Spanish decision noted that it can be read as part of a broader strategy to reinforce Spanish and European autonomy in critical technology, defense, artificial intelligence, and data management. And that framing of reinforcing autonomy is the exact same language Le Cornu used in France, the same language the BFV cited in Germany, and the same language the tech sovereignty package uses at the EU level. The vocabulary is converging because the policy is converging. Europe is not making 27 separate decisions to leave Palantir. It is making one decision expressed 27 times in 27 national dialects at a pace that is accelerating with every new announcement, and in every single one of those languages, the translation is roughly the same. Please pack your digital bags and get out of our data centers. The commercial implications for Palantir are also becoming measurable. European government contracts represented a significant and growing share of the company's revenue pipeline. Losing France's intelligence service, Germany's intelligence service, and now Spain's entire state-controlled enterprise portfolio does not just reduce current revenue, it eliminates the reference clients that Palantir needs to win future European contracts. No procurement officer in any European government will now select Palantir for a new project when 3 of the continent's 5 largest economies have publicly moved away from it. The reference space is gone, the pipeline is closing, and the replacement, ChapsVision in France and Germany, domestic alternatives in Spain, is being built in real time by companies that did not exist a decade ago. In terms of what's going to happen next, and I feel we already touched on this a little bit, the prediction is that at least 2 more EU member states will issue similar directives before the end of 2026. The Netherlands, which already blocked the US takeover of DigID, signed with Stackit and is building a sovereign military cloud with KPN and Thales, is the most likely next mover in my opinion. Italy, which cancelled Boeing's tanker, joined GCAP, and whose prime minister just publicly broke up with Trump, is also, I think, close behind. When Rome is actively choosing European alternatives over American military tech, you know the vibe shift isn't just real, it is practically institutionalized by now. I think by the end of 2027, Palantir's European government revenue will have contracted by more than 50% from its 2025 peak. That's just my opinion, though, and this is not financial advice. And the company that was once embedded in the most sensitive systems of every major Western government will probably find itself confined to the one market whose foreign policy made it unwelcome everywhere else, the United States. France changed the plumbing, Germany followed, Spain just turned off the tap entirely, and the prediction this channel made just 2 weeks ago that Spain would be next landed in 14 days. Not that I'm keeping score or anything, but if I were a data analytics company in Denver right now, I'd probably start refreshing my LinkedIn Premium subscription. Anyway, the Palantir exodus is only one layer of a broader European sovereignty stack that is now moving across every sector simultaneously. I made a separate video on how France fired Palantir from its spy agency after a decade, and why the Anthropic cutoff 4 days earlier proved Le Cornu's exact point about partners who can turn off the access tab. That's the video that I would watch next. Thanks so much for watching this one. Subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.